The Story of the Deluge and How It Came About. "One time," said Uncle Remus, adjusting his spectacles so as to be able to see how to thread a large darning needle with which he was patching his coat, "one time way back yonder, 'fore you was born, honey, and 'fore Marse John or Miss Sally was born, way back yonder 'fore any of us was born, the animals and the beastuses sort of luxury around among themselves, twell at last they agreed for to have assembly. In them days," continued the old man, observing a look of incredulity on the little boy's face, "in them days creatures had lots more sense than they got now. Let alone that, they had sense same like folks. It was touch and go with 'em too, mon, and when they make up their minds what had to be done, 'twa'n't more mention for it was done. Well, they elected that they had a whole assembly for to sort of straighten out matters and hear the complaints, and when the day come, they was on hand. The lion, he was there, 'cause he was the king, and he had to be there. The rhinoceros, he was there, and the elephant, he was there, and the camels and the cows, and plumb down to the crawfishes, they was there. They was all there. And when the lion shook his mane and took his seat in the big chair, then the session begun for to commence." "What did they do, Uncle Remus?" asked the little boy. "I can scarcely call to mind exactly what they did do, but they spoke speeches, and hollered, and cussed, flung the language round just like when your daddy was going to run for the legislature and got left. Howsomever, they arranged the fires and splained the business. By and by, while they was sputing along one another, the elephant tromped on one of the crawfishes, 'cause when that creature put his foot down, whatsomever's under there is bound for it to be squished, and they wasn't enough of that crawfish left for to tell that he'd been there. This make the other crawfishes mighty mad, and they sort of swarmed together and drawed up a kind of preamble with some wire foes in it, and read her out in the assembly. But bless gracious, such a racket was a-gwine on that nobody ain't hear exceptin' maybe be Mud Turkle on the Spring Lizard, and there and Flume was powerful lacking. By and by, whilst the unicorn was sputin' with the lion, and while the hyena was a-laughing to herself, the elephant squashed another one of the crawfishes, and a little more he'd a-ruined the Mud Turkle. Then the crawfishes, what they was left of 'em, swarmed together and drawed up another preamble with some more wherefores, but they might as well have sung old Dan Tucker to a hurricane. The other creatures were too busy with the fussin' for to spawn under the crawfishes, so there they was, the crawfishes, and they didn't know what minute was going to be the next, and keyed up on getting madder and skeerder, well, by and by they gwine to wink to the Mud Turkle and the Spring Lizard, and then they bored little holes in the ground and went straight down out of sight." "Who did, Uncle Remus?" asked the little boy. "The crawfishes, honey. They bored into the ground and kept on boring, and twell they unloosed the fountains of the earth, and the waters squirt out and rise higher and higher, twell the hills was kivered, and the creatures was all drownded, and all because they let on among theyselves that they was bigger than the crawfishes." Then the old man blew the ashes from a smoking yam and proceeded to remove the peeling. "Where was the ark, Uncle Remus?" the little boy inquired presently. "Which ark's that?" asked the old man in a tone of well-feigned curiosity. "Noah's ark," replied the child. "Don't you pester with the old man Noah, honey. I bound he took care of that ark. That's what he was there for, and that's what he done. Leastways, that's what they tells me. But don't you bother along with that ark, exceptin' your mammy fetches it up. They might have been 2 deluges, and then again they mightn't. If there was any ark in this year what the crawfish is brung on, I ain't hearn tellin' it. And when they ain't no ark round, I ain't got no time for to make 'em up and put 'em in there. It's getting your bedtime, honey.